Welcome to Technical Laboratory YouTube channel. Inter-VLAN routing. Inter-VLAN routing can be defined as a way to forward traffic between different VLAN by implementing a router in the network. As we learned previously, VLANs logically segment the switch into different subnets. When a router is connected to the switch, an administrator can configure the router to forward the traffic between the various VLANs configured on the switch. The user nodes in the VLANs forwards traffic to the router, which then forwards the traffic to the destination network regardless of the VLAN configured on the switch. There are two ways in which inter-VLAN routing can be accomplished. Traditional inter-VLAN routing. Router on a stick. Traditional inter-VLAN routing. In this type of inter-VLAN routing, a router is usually connected to the switch using multiple interfaces, one for each VLAN. The interfaces on the router are configured as the default gateways for the VLANs configured on the switch. The ports that connect to the router from the switch are configured in access mode in their corresponding VLANs. When a user node sends a message to a user connected to a different VLAN, the message moves from their node to the access port that connects to the router on their VLAN. When the router receives the packet, it examines the packet's destination IP address and forwards it to the correct network using the access port for the destination VLAN. The switch now can forward the frame to the destination node since the router changed the VLAN information from the source VLAN to the destination VLAN. Inter-VLAN routing using router on a stick. In the second type of inter-VLAN routing, which is router on a stick, the router is connected to the switch using a single interface. The switch port connecting to the router is configured as a trunk link. The single interface on the router is then configured with multiple IP addresses that correspond to the VLANs on the switch. This interface accepts traffic from all the VLANs and determines the destination network based on the source and destination IP in the packets. It then forwards the data to the switch with the correct VLAN information.
To configure inter-VLAN routing or router on a stick, we need the following network devices. Number 1, 2800.11 series router, quantity 1, 2960 series switch. It is a manageable layer 2 switch. Number of quantity is 3 and number of PCs used in this topology are 4 number. At first, connect router to switch 0 via FA0x0 port of router to FA0x1 port of switch 0 by Ethernet straight cable. Then connect switch 0 to switch 1 via FA0x2 port to FA0x3 port of switch 1 by straight cable. Then connect PC0 and PC1 to switch 1 via FA0x2 port and FA0x1 port via straight cable. Next, connect switch 2 to switch 0 via FA0x3 port of switch 0 to FA0x1 port of switch 2 by straight cable and connect PC2 and PC by FA0x2 port and FA0x3 port of switch 2 by straight cable. At first, double click on router 2811 and go to CLI, type NO, then type EN for enable, then type configure terminal, then type int FA0x0, then type no sat, then type exit, then type int F0x0.1. Here we create two sub interface for two VLAN. Then type encapsulation.1q VLAN ID 10. Encapsulation.1q is used for linking between two sub interfaces with the VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Then type IP ADDR 10.1.1.1 250 and type subnet mask 255.0.0 for VLAN 10. Then type exist. Again type int f0 by 0.2 second sub interface of f0 by 0. Then type encapsulation .1q VLAN ID 20. Then type IP ADDR 20.1.1.1 255.0.0.0. Then type exit. Then type Ctrl Z and then write. Next, double click on switch 0 and go to CLI. The full form of CLI is command line interface. Then type enable. Then type configure terminal. Then type int type for creating to VLAN 10 for name IT. Then type VLAN 20 name CSC. Here we create to VLAN. Then type exit. Then type int FA or F0 by 1 2 3 for trunking 1 to 3 port. We type int range F0 by 1 2 3 switch port mode trunk. Then type exit and then type Ctrl Z and then write. Next, double click on switch 1 and type enable. Then type configure terminal. Then type int F0 by 1 and switch port mode trunk. Then exit. Then type for VLAN creation VLAN 10 name IT. Then type VLAN 20 name CHC. Then exit. Then int F0 by 2 switch port mode access. Then type switch port mode access VLAN 10. Then type int F0 by 3 switch port mode access VLAN for accessing VLAN 20. Type switch port mode VLAN access switch port access VLAN 20. Then Ctrl Z. Then exit. Then double click on switch 2 and type enable. Type configure terminal. Type int F0 by 1 switch port mode trunk. Then exit. Then type VLAN 10 name IT. Then type VLAN 20 name CSC. Then type int F0 by 3 switch port mode access VLAN 20. And then type F0 by 2 switch port mode access VLAN 10. Then type Ctrl Z and then write. Then go to the species and assign the IP. At first open PC 0 and go to desktop. Put the IP 10.1.1.2. Click on subnet 255.0.0.0 and gateway default gateway is 10.1.1. Next, double click on PC 1 and go to desktop. Type IP 20.1.2 subnet 255.0.0 and default gateway 20.1.1.1. PC 0 is in VLAN 10 and PC 1 is in VLAN 20. Then go to PC 2, double click on PC 2 and go to desktop and type the PC's IP 10.1.1.3. Click on subnet text field and type 255.0.0 subnet mask and go to default gateway text field and type the default gateway 10.1.1.0 and then go to PC 3, double click on PC 3 and go to desktop. Assign the IP. The IP of PC 3 is 20.1.1.3. Subnet mask is 255.0.0.0 and default gateway is 20.1.1.1. Here PC2 in VLAN 10 and PC3 is in VLAN 20.